Welcome back to the deep dive. It is February 2026. And if you have been anywhere near a screen or a ticker tape, you know exactly what we have to talk about today.
Oh, yeah. It's the topic that just never sleeps.
It's the company that just sucks all the oxygen out of the financial room. We are, of course, talking about Tesla.
It really is the ultimate battleground stock, isn't it? You just mentioned the ticker TSLA, and a room it splits right in half.
Instantly.
It's like discussing politics at the dinner table, but with way more money involved.
Instant division. And that is exactly why this deep dive is so necessary today. We are not here to shout opinions or, pick a side.
Right.
We've pulled a pretty massive stack of source material. We're talking recent financial analysis reports, stock charts from this week, and transcripts of some very, very bold claims from Elon Musk.
And the claims are about this year. That's the key part.
Right.
We're not talking about, colonies on Mars in 2050. We're looking at the math for 2026.
The immediate future. Exactly. So here's the mission for today. We need to look past the hype, past the hate, and understand one specific thing, the catalyst. There's this mechanism described in the reports that could send Tesla stock soaring or crashing in the next 10 months.
It's a tension you can almost feel when you read these things. It's like a rubber band just stretched to its absolute limit.
Right, because on one hand, you have analysts calling the current valuation, and I'm quoting here, grossly inflated.
Yes.
I mean, the numbers we're about to get into are eye-watering.
And on the other hand, you have this promise of the Robotaxi, which is supposed to completely change transportation by December.
It is the classic battle, fundamentals versus faith, cold, hard math.
Versus a vision of the future.
Yeah.
And looking at the data we have in front of us, the stakes have truly never been higher.
Let's start with that vision side then. The Robotaxi, that's the headline grabber.
Right.
We've been hearing about full self-driving FSD for, a decade? It's been next year for about 8 years.
So what makes this time different?
That's the question. What makes the source material for this deep dive different?
It's the specificity.
Yeah.
Usually the timelines in the Tesla universe are, let's just say, fluid.
Coming soon.
Coming soon, eventually.
Yeah.
Mind-blowing updates shortly. You know the drill. But the source highlights a very specific prediction from Musk for 2026.
I have the quote right here. He said Tesla's Robotaxi service will be, quote, very, very widespread by the end of this year within the U.S.
Very, very widespread.
That's not ambiguous. He didn't say we'll start testing. He didn't say beta rollout. He said widespread.
No, not at all. And those words matter so much when you're the CEO of a trillion-dollar company. Widespread implies scale. It implies you can open your phone in Chicago or Miami and summon a Tesla with no driver. It implies a commercial reality, not just some science experiment.
Okay, but let's contextualize that, because this is where the dive gets really interesting. Where are we starting from? What's the reality right now, today?
The baseline is modest, to put it mildly. The source reminds us that Tesla only launched its first real robotaxi pilot in Austin, Texas last year.
Yeah.
In 2025.
So just to do the math here, we're going from a pilot program in one city,
Austin,
to very, very widespread across the entire U.S. in less than 12 months.
That is the definition of an aggressive scale-up. In the physical world, moving atoms, not just bits, that is light speed.
We're talking about logistics, regulation.
Fleet management. I mean, it's not just a software update. You need places to charge these cars, people to clean them when someone spills coffee in the back.
Right. Who wipes down the seat if there's no driver?
Exactly. Who does that? Scaling that to dozens of major cities in under a year, that's a Herculean task.
So why make the promise? Why put that kind of pressure on the company right now? And this brings us back to that idea of the catalyst the analysts keep mentioning. Why does this one narrative matter so much to the stock price?
This is where it gets into some fascinating market psychology. The source material explains that Tesla isn't just a car company anymore, it's a story stock.
It has a massive following of retail investors.
A massive following.
Let's pause there for a second. For you listening, if you just check your 401k once a year, what do we mean by retail investors?
Sure. So retail investors are regular people. You, me, the person trading on their phone at lunch.
Not the big Wall Street guys.
Not the huge pension funds or the banks. And Tesla has this unusually high percentage of regular people who are just true believers. They're not just buying a stock based on a spreadsheet.
They're buying a ticket to the future. They feel like they're part of the mission.
And the source says these investors have a specific behavior pattern. They feed on momentum.
So when the story gets exciting, like a widespread robotaxi rollout,
They buy in droves. It creates its own gravity. And that buying pressure can trigger something called a short squeeze.
Okay, short squeeze. We hear this term all the time with meme stocks. Break down the mechanics for us. Why does good news hurt the shorts?
I'll try. So imagine there are people who think Tesla is way overpriced. They want to bet against it. These are the short sellers.
Okay.
They borrow shares of Tesla stock and sell them immediately at, say, $400. They pocket that cash, but they owe the shares back later.
So they're just hoping the price crashes, they buy the shares back cheap, return them, and keep the difference.
That's the game. They profit if the stock craters.
Yes, yeah.
But if a catalyst happens, like Musk saying, Robotaxis are here,
And all those retail investors start buying.
the price goes up.
Right.
And now the short seller is losing money on every single dollar it goes up. Their losses are theoretically infinite.
So they panic.
They panic.
Yeah.
To stop the bleeding, they have to buy the stock back to return the shares they borrowed.
But by buying the stock.
They drive the price up even further. They become buyers, which adds to the demand.
It's a feedback loop.
It is fuel on the fire. And the source explicitly says if bullish sentiment ramps up because of this 2026 promise, it could squeeze short sellers out and leave a clear path for the stock to just rally vertically.
So that's why the promise is so potent. It's the spark for the rocket fuel.
Precisely. That is the bull case. That's the dream. Musk delivers, retail investors cheer, shorts get crushed, stock goes to the moon.
Everyone drives off in a robotaxi into the sunset.
That is the scenario the optimists are pricing in.
But this is a deep dive, not wishful thinking. We have to look at the other side.
The competition.
The competition. Because Tesla isn't operating in a vacuum here. There are other companies on the road.
No, it's not. And that reality check has a name, Waymo.
Alphabet's Waymo,
Yeah.
the Google self-driving car project.
Right. And it's just impossible to honestly evaluate Tesla's 2026 promise without looking at the company that's, well, already doing it.
The source material uses Waymo as the benchmark. How big is the difference right now?
It's the difference between we plan to do this and we are currently doing this at scale. While Tesla is looking to, pick up the pace from Austin
But Waymo is already operating.
at a serious commercial scale.
Yeah.
But gives the numbers from the report.
The specific statistic is that Waymo is currently averaging 450,000 paid rides per week.
Wait, 450,000
450,000
per week?
per week. I just want to let that sink in. That's almost 500,000 times a week that someone gets into a car with no driver, pays for it, and gets where they're going.
It's a staggering number.
Yeah.
If you annualize that, you're looking at over 23 million rides a year. That is not a beta test.
No.
That is a mature operational logistics business.
So when Musk says widespread by December, he's not just fighting physics. He's fighting a competitor with a massive head start on the actual grind of running a taxi service.
Exactly. And that's the nuance the source brings up. It's not just about the AI. Waymo has figured out the boring stuff. How to manage the fleet, how to deal with city councils, customer support.
For 500,000 people a week.
Right. Tesla has to build all of that nationwide in 10 months.
To go from one pilot in Austin to competing with 450,000 weekly rides, that's a vertical climb.
It is. And that's why the source calls this a prove-it moment. For years, the argument for Tesla was the data advantage from their millions of cars. And they do have a ton of video data.
But Waymo has the operational advantage. They know how to run the business.
So investors have to believe Tesla can basically compress 5 years of operational learning into one.
And based on the stock price, it seems like a lot of people do believe that.
Well, let's talk about that bet. Because this is where the financial analysis in our stack gets really, really heavy. The valuation.
The price tag.
Even if you love the cars, the math has to make sense.
Right. The sticker shock. So the source gives us a snapshot. As of this recording, February 2026, TSLA is trading around $397 a share.
Which gives it a market cap, the total value of the company, of $1.3 trillion.
Trillion, with a T, which is bigger than almost every other car company combined.
But the raw price is one thing. You have to look at the multiple. The price to earnings ratio, the PE. This is the holy grail for value investors.
Okay, let's do another quick explain, like I'm 5. Why does the PE ratio matter so much?
Okay, think of it like buying a small business. Let's say a local lemonade stand makes $100 a year in profit. That's the E, the earnings.
Okay.
If the owner wants you to pay $2,000 for the stand, your PE ratio is 20. You're paying 20 times what it earns in a year.
So it'll take me 20 years to earn my money back, assuming nothing changes.
Correct. Now, for the S&P 500, the average of the biggest U.S. companies, the PE ratio is usually around 26.
Okay, so 26 is our baseline for a big, stable company. So what is Tesla's PE right now?
According to our source, Tesla is trading at 390 times its trailing earnings.
390.
390.
So going back to my lemonade stand, that's like paying $39,000 for a business that makes $100 a year.
Yes. It would take you almost 4 centuries to make your money back if the earnings stayed the same.
I mean, that just sounds insane.
That sounds insane if you see it as a car company. Ford or GM, they trade at a PE of like 5 or 6.
5 or 6 versus nearly 400.
But why is anyone buying it? Why aren't people running for the hills?
Because they don't think the earnings will stay the same. They think the lemonade stand is about to become Amazon.
Exactly. When you pay a 390x multiple, you are not paying for today. You are paying for tomorrow. You are paying for the Robotaxi monopoly.
You're paying for world domination.
The source is very blunt about it. To justify this price, you have to, quote, truly believe that the company is a leader in tech and that it will dominate the robotaxi market.
Not just participate, dominate.
Dominate. So the stock is priced for perfection. Grossly inflated and egregious are the actual words the analysts use.
Wow.
They are not mincing words. If Tesla executes perfectly, hits this 2026 target, wipes out Waymo, then maybe 1.3 trillion is a bargain. But if they stumble,
If widespread ends up being, Austin and maybe Phoenix by December.
then there is a massive air pocket under that stock price. Mathematically, if you valued Tesla like a normal high-growth tech company, say a generous 50x PE, the stock would have to fall by over 80%.
That's the risk premium. And that is terrifying math if you're holding the bag.
It is. It's walking a tightrope without a net. You are betting that the future will arrive much, much faster than it usually does.
Which brings us to the final variable, the guy walking the tightrope.
The Elon factor.
You can't separate the stock from the man. And the source explicitly says investors should tread carefully with these predictions. Why that specific warning?
Because there's a history here. The source warns that Musk has made rosy projections in the past only for them to fall short or for Musk to alter them.
I remember 1 million robotaxis by 2020. That was a specific claim.
Exactly. And coast-to-coast autonomous drive by 2017.
So when he says widespread by end of 2026, the market has a bit of a PTSD.
The analysts have PTSD. They see the track record and they get nervous. The retail investors, maybe not so much.
And that's the tension.
That's the tension right there. You have these incredibly bullish retail investors who see this clear path to infinite growth. And then you have fundamental analysts looking at the 390x multiple and just screaming, bubble.
It's a clash of religions. One side sees a revolution, the other sees a math error.
And that is why 2026 is the year it all comes to a head. The prediction isn't vague. End of this year. The clock is ticking.
Every day that goes by without a massive rollout is another day that 390x multiple gets harder to justify.
It feels like the market is just holding its breath. Okay, you said this year, we're watching.
And watching with their wallets open. Okay, so let's bring this all back together for you listening. We've covered a lot. Short squeezes, lemonade stands. What are the 3 pillars you need to take away from this?
Okay, pillar 1, the aggressive timeline. Musk has staked the year on robotaxis being very, very widespread in the U.S. by December. That's the catalyst.
Pillar 2, the reality on the ground. Waymo is the benchmark, and they're already doing 450,000 paid rides a week. That is a huge operational moat to cross.
And pillar 3, the valuation risk. You are paying 390 times earnings for this stock. That's a premium that demands absolute, total perfection.
So whether you have money in the market or you're just fascinated by all this, the takeaway is this. This year is a test case. It is a stress test for how much a future promise is actually worth today.
It really is. It asks a fundamental question about modern markets. Does reality still matter? Or is the story powerful enough on its own?
And that's the thought I want to leave everyone with. We all hear widespread and picture something, but what happens if we get to December and that definition of widespread turns out to be, well, subjective?
Does the stock price rely on the technology actually working flawlessly this year? Or does it just rely on the belief that it will eventually work?
That distinction between the tech working and the belief remaining might be the most expensive question in the world right now.
I certainly wouldn't want to bet against that cult of personality, but I also wouldn't want to be holding that PE ratio when the music stops.
Well, we will all be watching to see how it plays out. 2026 is shaping up to be a wild ride, with or without a driver. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.
Take care.
See ya.